Did you know that 78% of pickleball singles matches are won by the player with the better serve and return game? It's true. And today you're going to learn how to master both. We're following Mark, a dedicated player, through his crucial training day. You'll see every drill, every strategy, and every mental trick he uses to dominate on the court. By the end of this video, you'll have a complete blueprint for singles success. You know that guy at the courts who always seems to win with his serve? It's like he's playing a different game. Well, today we're going to unpack why that serve is so deadly and how you can develop one just like it. This is critical because in singles, your serve is even more crucial than in doubles. Why? Because you don't have a partner to back you up. Every serve needs to count. Let's break down what makes a serve effective. First up is depth. You want that ball to land deep in your opponent's court, ideally within a foot or two of the baseline. This pushes them back and limits their return options. Next, we've got spin. A good topspin serve can force a high return, while a slice serve can pull your opponent wide. And don't forget about placement. Mixing up your serves between the forehand and backhand corners keeps your opponent guessing. When you nail these elements, magic happens. Your opponent feels immediate pressure. They're scrambling to make a decent return, and suddenly you're in control of the point before it's really even started. It's like you're playing downhill while they're trying to run uphill. But here's the thing. A great serve is only half the battle, because even if you're serving like a pro, you still need to know what to do when it's your turn to return. And that's exactly what we're going to cover next. Picture this. Your opponent just fired off an incredible serve, and now you're on the receiving end. What's your next move? Let's break it down. When you're returning a serve, depth is absolutely crucial. You want to send that ball deep into your opponent's court, ideally within a foot or two of their baseline. Why? Because it pushes them back and limits their options for their next shot. It's like turning the tables on them in an instant. But depth isn't the only thing that matters. Placement is just as important. A lot of players find success by aiming their returns to their opponent's backhand side. It's often the weaker side for many players, so you're immediately putting them on the defensive. Now, here's where things get really interesting. Have you ever noticed how the pros seem to be in the perfect position after their return? It's not magic. It's all about the split-step timing. To perform a split step, you quickly hop onto the balls of your feet, landing with your feet shoulder-width apart. This resets your balance and puts you in a position to move in any direction. Top players time their split step to coincide with their opponent's shot. This lets them react quickly and effectively to whatever comes next. But wait, there's more. You might be tempted to start moving forward as soon as you hit your return. Don't do it. This is a common mistake that can really mess up your control and power. Instead, focus on making solid contact with the ball before you start advancing. It might seem counterintuitive, but trust me, it makes a world of difference. Now, I know you're probably itching to know what Mark's secret weapon is for dominating the kitchen after his return. Well, let me tell you, it's a game changer. But before we get to that, let's talk about what happens after the serve and return are out of the way, because that's when the real action starts. Ever wonder why some players seem to effortlessly hit winners past their opponents at the net, while others struggle to get the ball over? The difference often comes down to one critical skill: the passing shot. But here's the catch. There isn't just one type of passing shot. In fact, there are 4. And knowing when to use each one could be the key to unlocking your singles game. Let's face it, passing shots are your ticket to victory in singles. When your opponent's camped out at the net and you're stuck at the baseline, a good passing shot can turn the tables in an instant. However, hitting a solid passing shot is tricky and certainly takes practice. So what makes a passing shot effective? It's all about trajectory and placement. You want that ball to have a downward path and zoom past your opponent. It's not just about power, it's about precision. The pros know this, and that's why they focus on hitting with aggressive spin. That spin makes the ball dip quickly, making it a nightmare for your opponent to return. Now, let's break down the 4 types of passing shots you need in your arsenal. First up, we've got the down-the-line shot. This one's often considered the most effective, especially for newer players. It's all about hitting straight down the sideline, and when done right, it's tough to defend against. Next, we've got the cross-court shot. This one's great for when your opponent's leaning towards the middle of the court. You want to aim diagonally across the court, using the open area to force them to defend rather than attack. Then there's the angle shot. This is a more advanced move where you're hitting the ball at a sharp angle across the court. It's risky, but when it works, it's spectacular. Finally, we've got the lob. This isn't just for when you're in trouble. A well-placed lob can be a killer offensive weapon, especially against opponents who like to crowd the net. So, how do you choose which shot to use? It all depends on where your opponent is positioned and what their strengths are. If they're quick at the net, a lob might be your best bet. If they're hanging back a bit, a sharp angle shot could catch them off guard. Use the cross-court shot when you want your opponent to cover a large area of the court. A down-the-line shot is extremely effective if your opponent is moving away from the sideline, or if you want to attack their backhand. Remember, even if your passing shot isn't perfect every time, don't sweat it. That's where volleys come in, and we're about to dive into those next. Think volleys in singles are the same as in doubles? Think again. Many players struggle with this crucial skill because they're stuck in a doubles mindset. But what if I told you there's a way to dominate at the net that most singles players overlook? Here's the deal. Volleys in singles are a whole different ballgame. You're covering more court, and you need quicker reflexes. It's not just about getting the ball over the net anymore. In singles, your volley placement and depth can make or break a point. Let's talk placement. You want to aim for the open court, away from your opponent. It sounds simple, but it's super effective. By targeting areas where your opponent isn't, you're creating scoring opportunities left and right. And depth? It's all about keeping those volleys low. A low volley forces your opponent to stay back, making it harder for them to attack. Here's something to keep in mind. Your volley success rate actually changes depending on where you are on the court. The closer you are to the net, the better your chances of hitting a killer volley. Why? Because you can take advantage of angles and put your opponent in a tough spot. A well-placed volley can force your opponent to hit a weak return, giving you the perfect opportunity to finish off the point. So, what's the secret to consistently low, deadly volleys? Mark's got a simple trick that's been a game changer for his singles play. It's all about recovery. After each shot, he makes sure to get back to the middle of the court. This positioning gives him better coverage and keeps him ready for whatever comes next. It's not fancy, but it works like a charm. Remember, mastering volleys in singles takes practice. It's about adapting your doubles skills to a whole new game. But once you get it down, you'll become a far better pickleball player. Here's your challenge for the week. Pick one of these skills and really focus on it. Maybe you want to work on your serve depth, or maybe you need to polish those volleys. Whatever you choose, give it your all. Move on to the next one once you've improved enough to the point where you feel really confident hitting that particular shot. Develop muscle memory. Drastic improvement doesn't happen overnight. It's a journey, and every practice session gets you one step closer. Keep at it, and before you know it, you'll be that player everyone's trying to beat. Now get out there and show them what you've got. If you're really determined to enhance your pickleball game, check out my video pickleball tips you need to master in 2025. Thanks for watching.